Sa Eastern Conference, iilan na lang talaga yung mga teams na masasabi natin na clear-cut contenders. Kagaya ng Celtics, na minsan nag-i-implode sa playoffs. Or ng Bucks na si Doc Rivers ang coach. Or Cavaliers. Pero kung dadaan pa tayo ng isa pa, yung number 4 sa standing sa East, Orlando Magic. Team na for the last few years or so, ako lang pumapansin sa space na to, sa internet. Even though hindi nako-cover ng mga gumagawa ng video sa YouTube, sure naman ako na merong presensya dito sa Pilipinas ang Orlando Magic. Shoutout sa mga kapwa Magic fans ko dyan na part ng Facebook GC na ilang taon na rin nag-TTS. Kilala nyo na kung sino-sino kayo. Anyway, kung babalik tayo sa Orlando, parang hindi nga ramdam halos buong season na top 5 or top 6 team sila sa East. And to be honest, hindi ko gets kasi tong team na to sa huling 3 taon or 4 na taon, nag-draft sila ng 2 franchise cornerstone sa 2 lottery picks, 5 and 8. And mind you, yung best player rin nila ngayon, yung first overall pick last year na si Paolo Banchero. Na sa buong career niya, iisa pa lang yung nationally televised game despite being an all-star this season. Sa pangalawang taon niya, all-star kagad. And already averaging numbers na talagang pang grabe. And speaking of grabe, yung sa team na to, grabe yung disrespect or disregard for a lack of a better word. So ngayon, since Magic fan ako, of course, may konting bias and that's okay. Opinion naman yun. Pero as much as I can, ipepresent ko sa inyo bakit tong team na to ay potentially isa sa mga susunod na dynasties sa NBA. First point, this team was built, not bought. Pumasok sila Jeff Weltman and John Hammond sa team na to with a vision of a team na modern and athletically superior kagaya ng mga previous projects nila sa Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo or sa Toronto with Pascal Siakam. Sila nag-draft doon. First few years nila was promising. Under Steve Clifford, nakapag-set sila ng disiplina and consistency sa team. Nawala ng mga previous years. Nakita rin natin yung growth nila Jonathan Isaac as an elite defender, and this front office took a gamble on Markelle Fultz na at the time, it paid off. Naging effective starter si Markelle Fultz for a couple of years bago siya may injury. Nakapag-playoff sila under Clifford bago sila tamaan ng napaka-imposibleng injury bug sa buong history ng nakita ko ever. Lahat ng pwedeng ma-injure na injure, unfortunately. Pero after that, pinasabog kagad ng front office na nakita nila na yung trajectory ng team na to kahit na maging healthy sila, mababa lang yung ceiling. And the team moved on. Immediately binuo nila yung bagong era ng Magic, centered around Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, 2 6'10" all-around wings. Basically, jumbo version ng Brown and Tatum. And then meron pa silang Jalen Suggs na you can compare to Marcus Smart. And may Wendell Carter Jr. na essentially papasa as Al Horford-esque type of big man. So tong team na to was very Celtics-ish. And magandang sign yun kasi kung meron kang blueprint para sa young team na maging contender, Celtics talaga yon. And this team works. And nag-grow sila ng sabay-sabay. And that alone is a green flag para sa front office. Alam nila kailan gagawa ng move. Alam nila kung ano yung move na gagawin nila, and alam nila kung kailan sila mag-stay put. For example, 2024 trade deadline, wala silang ginawang kahit na ano. Pero after that, biglang nagsistreak yung team ngayon. Second point ko naman, identity. This team plays elite defense. As of writing this video, number 4 sa defensive rating ang Orlando Magic. Tapos yung diferensya sa number 2, halos katiting lang din. Yung defense nila is headed by Jalen Suggs and Gary Harris's elite on-ball defense. Tapos you have aliens like Jonathan Isaac, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and even Goga Bitadze na nakaabang sa help side para i-disrupt yung mga penetrations. Now let's look at Orlando Magic's defense. Kung makikita natin sa clip na to, Jalen Suggs, sa kanya lahat to. Okay, this is a 77, double drag para sa Washington. Most likely, naghahanap sila ng 2-4-1 kasi meron 39 seconds left a shot clock. So, maghahanap pang Wizards dito ng double screen para mabigyan ng opportunity si Tyus Jones to pull up or mag-drive. And at the same time, mabigyan si Kyle Kuzma ng opportunity ma-open pagka-lift niya after ng double screen. Makikita natin, mag-go over si Suggs sa 2 screen. Parang hindi nga isang screen tumama. Dumulas lang talaga si Suggs. And hinabol ni Suggs si Jones sa dribble penetration. Put up a contest to force the miss. Grabe. Dito naman, napupunta kay Tyus Jones yung bola after a down screen. So, si Anthony Black medyo out of position pero since 6'7" to with long wingspan, confident siya sa length niya. And instead na mag-play siya, aggressive, defense, na pwedeng mag-take advantage si Tyus Jones kapag binangga siya out of his way, diretso yan dito. Ang ginawa ni Anthony Black, instead of being aggressive, inantay niya si Jones na pumunta dito sa spot na to. Inunahan niya. And ako makikita natin, okay, kinita ni Anthony Black si Tyus Jones dito sa spot na to. And now, napersa niya ngayon na si Tyus Jones mag-pick up ng bola and force the kick out. So, nag-flow ang Washington Wizards ngayon into a pick and roll between Kyle Kuzma and Corey Kispert. So now, si Jalen Suggs yung magpapakita sa bola dito. It's either i-hedge niya para mapuwersa yung kick out or magsiswitch sila. Pero most likely, magsiswitch to kasi 8 seconds na lang. Usually, ang NBA teams kapag ganitong liit na lang yung shot clock, like mga 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 6 seconds, siniswitch na nila yon kasi mamamatay na yung shot clock eh. And it's better to put up a contest instead na umasa ka pa sa rotation. Nakikita natin dito, magsiswitch ang Orlando. This is a perceived mismatch. Mismatch lang to in terms of height, pero kayang-kaya to ni Jalen Suggs ipanalo. As we can see here, gagamitin ni Kuzma yung height niya and yung katawan niya. Nagamit siya ng slight bump kay Jalen Suggs, pero si Jalen Suggs sobrang lakas ng upper body and hindi umubra sa kanya yung bangga. And nandun pa rin siya to force the miss. Now, sa play naman na to, 5 out. Angle pick and roll para sa Wizards. Again, hindi tumama yung screen kay Jalen Suggs. You have Anthony Black sa nail and you have Paolo Banchero here nakaabang with Franz Wagner. So basically, yung formation and depensa ng Orlando, you have a pesky, elite on-ball defender with Jalen Suggs, binabantayan yung bola. You have a 6'7" guard sa nail para mahirapan kang dumrive sa gitna. And then you have 2 6'10" players dito nakaabang sa ilalim. Tapos you have Goga Bitadze na deceptively athletic and deceptively long in terms of a defender na nakaabang dito sa drop. So, kumbaga yung formation and yung buo ng team nila defensively, kahit na gumawa sila ng konting mistake defensively, nasasalo just because of them being superior in terms of physical traits and athleticism. Makikita natin dito, makakadrive si Corey Kispert, pinahirapan ni Jalen Suggs syempre, and now, Goga Bitadze was there to block the shot. Dito again, kung makikita natin, magpipick and roll ang Hornets. You have Wendell sa drop. And then you have 2 6'10" players dito sa weak side. Play natin. Makikita natin, Trayman, in-snake yung pick and roll. So Wendell had to cover him sa drop. So now, medyo long close out to for Paolo Banchero kay Miles Bridges. Who is a decent shooter pero, di ba, hindi naman niya si Steph Curry. So since 6'10" si Paolo, kahit na long close out, nakapag-put up siya ng decent contest to force the miss. And now again dito, empty side pick and roll, Grant Williams to Trayman. Again, you have 2 6'10" players here, nakaabang sa weak side. And you have Wendell Carter, a versatile big man, dito sa drop. And you have an elite defender with Gary Harris also. Tapos si Jalen Suggs dito on the ball. Ginugulo yung ball handler. Makikita natin, good drop by Wendell Carter. Na-delay niya yung dribble ni Trayman, forcing him to kick out papunta sa corner. And now, Gary Harris, binabantayan ng bola. Late pick and roll, 5 seconds na lang. So, i-switch to for sure kay Paolo Banchero. And now, makikita natin after ng switch, they forced a tough jump shot. Grabe. And now, again, dito, empty side pick and roll. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren. Nag-hedge si Wendell Carter. And then you have 2 6'10" guys here sa help side with Jalen Suggs splitting the gap. Or sama mo pa nga to kasi sobrang sipag. Kung nasaan bola, nandun si Jalen Suggs. So now, after ng pasa ni Cade, you have 2 6'10" guys na pumunta sa bola. Ayan, dalawa ngayon ang nakapayong na 6'10". And you have Jalen Suggs, kay binabox out si Fontecho na nakaabang din sa steal just in case na ibigay kay Fournier or kay Thompson. As we can see here, okay, they forced the miss. And again, dito sa clip na to, nag-switch si Franz Wagner kay Colin Sexton. So, hindi to mismatch. Kung in terms of height, typically, parang center na rin si Franz kasi 6'10". Then you have a quick guard, Sexton, na most of the time ay na-ISO na yan. Pero hindi naman center si Franz eh. Guardia yan eh. Hindi mo yan maiiwan in terms of isolation. Makikita natin dito, sinubukan dumrev ni Sexton sa palpal. Offensively, right now, mediocre sila, to be honest. Pero kita mo pa rin yung progression sa players nila over time. Let's look at Paolo Banchero. Year 1, 20 points, almost 7 rebounds and 3.7 assists on 42 and 29% shooting. Ngayon, sa year 2, almost 23 points, almost 7 rebounds and 5.2 assists on 46 and 36% shooting. So that's considerably higher. Mas tumaas yung load niya offensively pero mas naging efficient siya. Tapos si Jalen Suggs naman, first 2 seasons niya sa NBA, horrific shooting. 27% lang sa 3 compared to this year na 39% on 5 attempts per game. Grabing improvement. Tapos yung rookie naman nila na si Anthony Black, isang 6'7" point guard. Pumasok to ng NBA, ang weakness ay 3-point shooting. Pero as a prospect, kukunin mo pa rin yun kasi 6'7" point guard na grabe defensive instincts. Diba? Yung 3-point shooting, madedevelop yan. And right now, halos hindi pa nga tapos yung season, grabe na kagad yung improvement sa shooting niya. Sa NCAA, he shot 30% sa tres. Pero ngayon sa Orlando is currently shooting 41% sa tres. With much better shooting mechanics. Pero balik tayo kay Paolo Banchero. Isa sa mga paraan na ginagawa ng Orlando para malagay si Paolo sa spots niya ay through inverted ball screen. So ano ibig sabihin nun? So dito makikita natin inverted ball screen. Anthony Black yung magsiset ng screen para dalhin si Tyus Jones kay Paolo Banchero sa bola. As you can see here, okay, nagpakita, nag-show si Tyus Jones. And now, ang mangyayari dito, pagkaalis ni Anthony Black sa eksena, si Goga Bitadze ay nasa gitna ng court. So, pag binigay mo kay Goga, kitang-kita niya ngayon yung advantage ng depensa or ng opensa nila rather. Kasi for example, kapag ito, pinasa kay Goga, okay, let's assume na hawak na ni Goga to and si Anthony Black nakapag-space out na rito. So, that's essentially a 3 versus 4 para sa Orlando Magic. Having Goga with the ball, pinakamalaking player sa court, kitang-kita niya ngayon kung ano mangyayari sa loob ng court. Especially with them having an advantage in terms of numbers. So, you can see here, papasa ni Paolo kay Anthony Black. So ngayon, tong dalawang to, X na to sa play. That's 2 on the ball na pinasa na ni Paolo papunta kay Anthony Black. So may advantage na ngayon ng Orlando. There were 3 Wizards players versus 4 Orlando players. So makikita kagad yun ng Orlando. Immediately, bibigay nila kay Goga yung bola, rolling to the basket. So now, Corey Kispert had to be the help guy, leaving his man open. Pero since ang liit ni Kispert kumpara kay Goga, advantage ito for Goga to finish inside. Lahat ng yun nangyari dahil dinoble si Paolo Banchero with the ball ng ganong kataas. And again, dito inverted ball screen. Okay? Nag-show ulit. Pero ang ginawa ng Wizards, nag-hedge and recover. So, ang mangyayari doon, mag-hedge kunyari si Kispert, babalik siya kay Cole Anthony, and then habang nangyayari yun, babalik si Denny, pabalik kay Paolo. Pero ang nangyayari kasi doon, merong split second na walang tao si Paolo. And ito yun, yung pabalik pa lang si Denny. And now, since threat ngayon si Paolo with the ball, especially sa 3 points, 36% shot this season so far, titira niya yan every time. And now, again dito, Cole Anthony, dadalhin si Jordan Poole kay Paolo Banchero. Magsiset ng screen si Cole Anthony. Okay, magsho-show, mag-hedge. And now, si Cole Anthony, magsho-short roll, papunta rito sa gitna ng court. Again, advantage for Orlando. Dalawang Wizards players ang wala sa eksena and you have advantage 4 versus 3. Now, meron ngayong spot si Cole Anthony sa gitna ng court, okay, to put up a shot. Mapapansin natin si Denny, dalawa ang kino-cover, yung dalawang Wagner brothers. So, weak side. Take note nyo yan, kasi pagdating dito sa play na to again, magsiset ulit si Cole Anthony ng pick, 2 on the ball. Now, nagkaroon ng miscommunication since ang layo na ng spacing ni Franz tsaka ni Mo. Si Denny, naging clueless and si Coulibaly. Sa bola sila nakatingin hindi sa tao. Si Paolo, nakita niya yung tao. So yan yung mga reasons kung bakit sa tingin ko na itong Orlando Magic team na to is here to stay. Hindi sila yung young team na masasabi lang natin na umangat kasi nakachamba or biglang pumabor sa kanila yung tadhana ng basketball gods. Itong team talaga na to, deliberate and intentional yung pagkakabo even from the start. And now, yung mga desisyon na yun ng front office and ng coaching staff and ng players rin, nagpe-pay off na siya. Kasi alam nila yung track nila, alam nila yung potential nila, and nanatili sila doon. And kapag kailangan nila mag-adjust, nag-adjust sila. So I think itong team na to is poised to be one of the best teams sa East sa mga susunod na taon because of that.